I think this is the question that's probably on everybody's mind after seeing that movie. How important was it to incorporate breasts into this movie for you?
Well, to Birdemic 2, I have a producer, so I'm going to let Jeff answer that question.
A lot of lingering shots on tits, that's all I'm saying.
Were they? Can I tell a story? Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the thing, James, I should be the first question, but James had, that was the Slasherland set, because we were going from set to set, right? I assume you didn't have the movie while I was outside, but he was jumping from set to set, and, his idea was like an 80s slasher set film, and also, I don't know, we added a couple of things. And James, you ever direct breasts before?
Well, I noticed that before the movie screen tonight, you saw the Evil Dead and even the Night of the Living Dead. Well, it's a scene of Hollywood. Part of Birdemic is you saw the first act. I tried to tell this Birdemic 2, the Resurrection. I tell the story of the small guy, just like the Birdemic 1, the small guy in the Silicon Valley trying to make it with the Silicon Valley dream, the YouTube guy, the Google guys. Well, what you just saw is the first act of Birdemic 2, the Hollywood dream, the elusive Hollywood dream, trying to make it in Hollywood. And it's a scene in Hollywood where if you walk in Hollywood, you're going to see slasher, the slasher's film with the...
This is the best answer for tits I've ever gotten, by the way.
This is and it's there. The Evil Dead or any of those horror genre, even Saw, or even... you're going to see nudity scenes. So it was just kind of like my coffin, my what I saw in Hollywood.
Actually, I can answer that. That was my Silicon dream. I had 1/3 of those.
Literally, it's taking 2 minutes and approximately 5 minutes to be like, we just like tits.
I bet,
Well, the thing here is that it's
I did not expect
it's there in Hollywood. Whether you like it or not, it's part of the genre of the horror film. And
what kind of more on that? How much of what that first act of the movie was your own commentary on your own process? Because I think one thing that people would want to know is whenever Jeff came on, you're going to make Birdemic 2, and the first act you mentioned having complete creative control. Did you have complete creative control of this movie?
I think that I have most of what I want, and any artist out there, director thing is that it's. I think that I made the movie. I won most of it, and there is some compromise, just like anything.
Right.
So what I say is that the final product you saw tonight. I think that overall, I think that's. Let me ask you: did you like what you saw tonight? Yeah. Thank you. And what I'm saying is that personally, there's a few things that I personally would change, but overall, I liked it just like you. And let's put it that way. Let me answer that way.
Fair enough. Did Jeff come on as a producer before you started writing, or did you write it and then Jeff was like, want to get on that script?
He came after. Like I said in my intro, that the first film, Birdemic, Shock and Terror, became a worldwide hit. It made it to the front cover of the New York Times. CBS Morning did a story, and live was supposed to be easy for me as the tour director. You get the Hollywood. In fact, I sat there right next to the executive Paramount Picture, the guys who did the Paramount No Activities series and all that, on the Paramount Walk. And they screamed Birdemic. I said, Jane, we love it, and we'll come back to you a week later on to give you a reply. And I thought it was going to be done, and it didn't happen. So there I was, 2 years ago, and I had to start from ground zero again. I had to raise the money for what you just saw. And it took me 2 years and was desperate. I mean, I did everything in the book, hustling. I mean, you think the guy who made it to the front cover at the time wouldn't have to work that hard, but I had to. That to just show you how tough the business is. If you want to be in the movie business, it's really a cutthroat, tough business.
Was it hard to?
Yes, it was. And
well, not.
Yes, it was. And one day, I did everything I wanted. AFM, I did everything in the book. I met the A-list people, and one day, suddenly, I got an email from Mr. Jeff Ross, and I thought he was joking. And he emailed, and he was a Hollywood producer. You're looking at a real Hollywood producer. I said, James, let's do it. I'm a big fan. You know, I know there's a lot of Birdemic fans here, but you look at one of the biggest Birdemic fan here on earth here. Mr. Jeff Ross, give him a big hand. You saw that?
I'll just add, I mean, I decided, like he says, you know, but in 2009, I didn't want to work on another picture that I didn't need to see. There was just too much shit coming out. You know, it's tired, getting older. And I saw Birdemic and then started looking at it, I mean, and it changed my life, right? I was like, I started talking to my wife differently, things like that. And then I did contact James. I promised my wife I wouldn't do another movie. Because I never thought there would be another movie that I needed to see. And then I saw this, and I saw James on interviews talking about Birdemic 2. I contacted him, and I realized, I met with some studios, and they said, great, send the script. We'll give you notes. I go, no, that's not how this is going to work. It's like Woody Allen, you know, you just leave the master alone. And they're like, well, we're not in the business to do that. So it was my job to raise it, to protect him. And I think when James, I don't want to speak for you, but when you're talking about, you know, was this 100% what he wanted to see? If we shot the script exactly the way he wanted, it probably would have cost about $10 million. So, no, this is 100% James, 100% him. And I think you're talking about the compromise in terms of, once again, production values.
And how hard was it to come back for a sequel to something that was made so earnestly, and then to try and kind of recapture that magic for, I guess, all you guys, but not you?
Well, I thanks. Well, you know, I did. Well, I want to give Alan a thing, but I just quickly, you know, just say that the first one, it just became a cult by accident. You know, a cult film, it just happened by accident. You cannot intentionally, whatever money you got, even the Hollywood studio, all the money they got, you cannot intentionally go out and make a cult film. You know, it just happened by accident. That's what happened to the first one. So the second one, what you just saw tonight, is that we try to take the good parts of the first one and try to turn it into a, you know, something that you like, but yet continue on to the story, but, you know, make it a little better and make it entertaining. Yes, put that in there. So Alan, I mean,
yeah, how hard was it to dive back into that character and bite back into that world?
I mean, how hard was shooting with the...
Yeah, I had actually had to watch the movie again, just to get the character back, because, you know, I've been taking acting classes and stuff, so pretty much when I learned from acting class, I just totally forgot and just watched the movie, and that's how I got, you know, came up with the same character.
Was it intimidating for you to walk into, you know, an established like movie and a team of people?
Well, I actually signed on to Birdemic 2 without even knowing what Birdemic 1 was. True story. And I don't know if James wants me to tell you all this or not, but I was not James's first choice. He told me I was his fourth choice. But I guess
there's a lot of people married out there tonight to number 4. So
yeah, I guess luckily for me, the first 3 couldn't do it, or they knew what Birdemic was. And yeah, I had a great time doing this though. It was a lot of fun, you know, working with James, Alan, Whitney Moore. She's not here, but I mean,
and I was there too.
Jeff was there.
Yeah.
And,
guys, you know, Tom is from New Orleans. He's from Southern, you know.
Better. I mean, that I think he performed better, and still was Rod. But he trained for this. I mean, he's kind of shy. He doesn't talk about it, but he's got guns under there. I'm telling you.
He doesn't look shy. He's saying it real wide.
Did you see those moves?
You see those Bruce Lee kung fu kick? Come on, Alan. Come on, do it. Come on.
You incorporate some magic into that, and I think you got a career. So I could stand up here and probably ask these guys a million questions, but I want to let you guys have the opportunity. That hand is very proudly raised.
If you make a third one, will you consider bringing back Jerry Owens, the solar panel salesman?
That's a good question. You know, I never even thought of that. But there is Birdemic 3.
Yes.
Sea Eagle. And it might take place in Texas.
Wait, I have a quick follow-up question. How many times have you said it takes place in whatever city you're currently in? Because we do not like being lied to in Austin, Texas.
No, it's the what might, you know, because right now it's in development with Birdemic 3. The subtitle is Sea Eagle. Okay? And it might take place in New York, It might take place in San Francisco or even Texas. Any states where you got ocean nearby.
Or I visited.
I worked on two awesome movies that totally bombed here in Austin. I love it here. I really do. I want to go back to the Brown Building downtown. I really do. So, Austin, it's on the list. We have a very short list. And to answer your question, every city.
I was gonna say, God, I really fucking hope Austin's number 4 on your list. Yeah, right there, in the stars.
I want to applaud you on your creative use of blurring. I assume you blurred people's faces where you couldn't get a release, but why did you need to blur like license plates of vehicles and stuff?
Well, I have my notes, and I want to leave it to Jeff.
Okay,
That's more of we shot who, when, and I didn't have releases,
Legal
but
reason,
I just if we got a distributor, which we ended up just going our way, we did that in post. Our executive producers actually are fantastic, and they handled that. So I saw that afterwards.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's one of those, it's legal thing, Birdemic 1, you saw a lot of scene where the public, we shot like at the Half Moon Bay scene with the Pumpkin Pie Festival. Well, all those people there, they could have sued me personally, not just even Oracle Corporation, the Motel 6 Corporation, or even the lingerie company. What is it? What's that company? Yeah, Victoria's Secret. They could have sued me, James Nguyen, but they didn't because they liked it, because you can't buy that kind of publicity. It's worth. They spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in publicity, advertising, and I basically did them a favor. So so my only complaint is that they never sent me a thank you letter.
Just like with all the multi-million-dollar ads that Victoria's Secret has made, they're like, oh, you know what we didn't think of? Fucking birds attacking. Yeah, somebody else got one? Yeah.
So, was the beginning of this movie with Sunset Dreams, was that like a different movie, or did you go straight from Birdemic 1 to Birdemic 2, and this was kind of the plot you wanted?
Well, the first act, the Birdemic 2, the Resurrection, you saw the story, the small guy. The actor, the producer, the actor, the producer, the director, trying to make it in Hollywood, the small guy. And I tried to tell the story that, because I lived it. I live in Hollywood. I seen it. And that's what you saw on the screen. And just like the Birdemic 1, you saw the Silicon Valley Dream with Rod trying to make it with his startup. The Google guys, the Facebook guy. It's very real. I mean, you saw in Birdemic 1 where NCT Software bought out, Oracle Corporation bought NCT Software for $1 billion. That was fictitious, like a year, 2 years. And you saw last year what happened. Facebook bought out Instagram for $1 billion in Silicon Valley. So it was, it was kind of like, live mimicking fiction. So I was telling the truth. That's what I saw in Silicon Valley, because I lived it. I was a developer and I was a sales guy, and So I was telling it, and what you saw in the first act in Birdemic 2, I lived it, and I saw the struggling actor, director, producer, and so I just telling them a small guy, and it's based partially on me as a director, but it's based on successful director, big time, that I knew, personally known. There's this guy who made this movie that swept Sundance in the 90s. And basically, like Orson Welles, he after that movie, his life was over. He never did anything after that. Like Orson Welles, Citizen Kane, after that, nothing else. After that, whatever he did doesn't matter. And there's no big auteur. He's the ultimate auteur, and he Oscar nominated, and after that, he made this big Hollywood movie, and he was too auteur. And no studio would hire him. But he just went on to make auteur film. So it's based not partially on me, but a lot of it is on people I knew, director I knew personally as a friend. So that was the first act, And but surrounding that, the romance thing, Bill and Gloria, the romance, you saw that. There's foreshadowing of both, and you saw that the rain has turned red, and the birds are falling on the sky. Now it's a good time. I'm going to quiz you guys. Okay, so the plot. Okay, now let's get to the plot. Okay, so why did the bird attack Hollywood, LA?
Global warming.
Okay, that's good. That's the right answer, but that's only 50% of the question. The answer.
Is it red?
What is the other 50%?
Is it red rain?
Yeah. Well, the red rain. Well, that's not the answer, but the why? Because the global warming. Okay, the answer is that the global warming has caused the rain, the color of the rain to turn red. Okay, and the rain has resurrect the dead. It resurrect the ancient bird of the labray tarpon. You saw the rise, and I got this whole idea from that movie. Remember the movie, The Reanimator? Like yeah, that's how I got the idea. Okay, so it resurrected dead, the ancient bird of the labray tarpon. You saw the exhibit, the ancient bird, so you saw the labray tarpon. So the red rain falls down on the labray tarpon, it resurrected dead, the ancient birds, okay? And the same thing, it resurrect the zombies at the cemetery, and it resurrect the caveman. So what do you think of the plot, guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Yeah.
I hope that answers your question. You can go back and watch the tape. You'll figure your answers in there. Somebody else have one? Yep, that person.
For the actors, what kind of effect has this movie and the previous movie had on your career, both positively and negatively?
This is your first film, so you know.
He's a pro. He goes first, okay?
Seniority. I've actually been getting a lot of offers, movie offers. I'll just off Birdemic, so that's pretty awesome. So I've done another film called Ghost Shark 2, Urban Jaws, but also I actually got a lot more coming out for Birdemic 2, so I got a lot more offers, so it's pretty awesome. Just off of Birdemic 2.
Like Alan said, I mean, any publicity in Hollywood's good publicity, and we're getting tons of it. So, sky's the limit,
Guys, I just want to say that I know I discovered Alan, and both Jeff and I discovered Tom here, and just say these two guys, they're both you saw they're talented, they're handsome looking guys, actor, they're talented, but the most important thing to be successful in their in the movie business is they got the right attitude and the perseverance, the determination to make it in the movie business, and I know they're gonna make it big, and so I just want to let's give them both of them a big hand, guys.
Yeah. A question? You are the solitary hand that I'm pointing at, so yes.
Why did the birds explode? I've always wanted to know why.
That's a good question. Well, it's both in the first Birdemic 1, right? The thing is that global warming has caused the birds to be mutant, okay? Toxic and flammable, okay? And the same reason in Birdemic 2, that the birds, even though the red rain have resurrected the ancient bird, but the global warming still caused them to be mutant toxins, so when they take a dive and they explode. Okay, so
and that is why birds explode. Also, if you give them Alka-Seltzer. You in the back.
For the actors, how often do you get recognized? What's it like, and has it affected your dating life?
I get recognized every once in a while. Last time was at a gym, But no, my dating life, I keep my life pretty private. So I actually like it because I get recognized every once in a while, so I still have like a private life and I can do whatever I want.
I just picture you like, somebody's like, hey, sweet moves. I've seen that kick before.
I bartended at a bar in Hollywood as well on the side, and I mean, you're the bird guy. That's what I get.
I wish somebody did not know what Birdemic was, and they're just like, what the fuck does that mean? And you just had this really good like bird pantomime that you did. Yeah, somebody else? This one?
Yeah, well, first of all, the first movie was literally the best movie I've ever seen. I've been doing it like anything else. The most fun I've ever had in a movie theater, bar none. But I guess I heard the second one was going to be 3D. I'm kind of wondering what happened to that along the way.
Well, that's what's my original vision, and but because of budget reason, we have to downside to what you saw tonight. And they can still be converted to 3D, but I guarantee you that the Birdemic 3 is going to be Birdemic 3D Sea Eagle. Yeah! Yeah!
Right here in Austin. No, actually, that was the first that literally was the compromise. Was I had never worked with James before, and I was starting to get to know him, and I knew that what was on the page was so much more than what was in the original, what it was going to take. So I said, look, what's most important? And to you, it was the Universal lot. There were some big set pieces that were going to cost a lot. We had to roll along to keep it moving.
I think also a good compromise would have been throwing birds at people.
Sure, and I want to comment on that. You saw that, it's, in Hollywood standard, what you saw tonight, where still a tiny dust in terms of production budget, but you saw that we were very economical, and the first one was I produced that for less than $10,000 based on my paycheck, and you liked it, and the second one I have Mr. Jeff, our producer, who's done. To Hollywood style, but it was still very modest, very small in Hollywood standard.
Just want to use my
sure, sure, And what I'm saying is, even that, we managed to make a deal with Universal Studio Picture, the studio itself in Hollywood, and you saw that scene where, when the protagonist, birds attack onto the Jaws set, Spielberg's Jaws sets. Then you take the Universal Studio tour a lot, you'll see that, okay? So, that's part of the set where Spielberg shot Jaws itself, but what's so fascinating about that is that here we are, we're tiny, small production, still an indie production company, picture, Birdemic 2 The Resurrection, right next to us is $100 million picture production left and right in front of us, with the sound set. To me, that's less interesting to me. Is just that I felt like I was kind of like walking a little bit into history because, a few feet away on the left was the sound stage where Hitchcock shot part of the Birds, the original Bird, 1962, and on the right is this Hitchcock the Psycho set that's still there that you can still see when you do the worst in Hollywood when you do the Universal Studio tour. So to me, that's what made coming back. It's just is that. When you shoot a movie, the poster and everything takes place in Hollywood. One scene that I basically have to make a financial correction on my director's fee and everything. I made a deal with Jeff. I said, look, I'll go down my director's fee and everything. You just make sure that scene we have to shoot on the Jaws set on the Universal Studio back in Hollywood. So you have to have that scene in order to make this movie authentic.
And the tar pits.
And the tar pits, yeah, the tar pits. So that scene, the Jaws set, and basically it legitimized this movie that, hey, this movie was shot, in Hollywood. It was not a sound. It was not fake, It was real. I mean, you saw that on the Hollywood sign, the first act, it was kind of a little story. So did you see the homage to Sunset Boulevard? Yeah. You see that, right? Even the sign, the Hollywood Square, the La Brea, but to the ending. You saw the ending when the screenwriter, I know some of you here are fans of Sunset Boulevard, the movie, right?
Yeah.
You saw the opening when the screenwriter,
Hey, that guy right there doesn't care for it. He liked your movie the best.
So Birdemic, the resurrection, it ends near the end, before the Hollywood sign that the screenwriter dies and he falls into the pool, just like George, in Sunset Boulevard.
What a great guy he was.
Really? You guys just got that?
Yeah.
You are uncultured swine.
Yes.
Somebody else got a good question?
This is for James. Can you talk to, I really want to know this. Can you tell us why you think Birdemic, Shock and Terror, really resonated with its audience?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think that the first thing is that I made Birdemic, Shock and Terror back in 2008 with no money. Basically, I tried to raise the money the right way back in 2006. I spent 2 years, find an investor, and it didn't happen. So I financed it myself, my paycheck, And the thing is that the reason I think that the movie became a hit is that one is that it's a good story. There's sincerity to the story, sincerity and. But I actually add another word that I got because I was in New Jersey in this the premiere of Birdemic 2 Resurrection in New Jersey last week, and there was a fan, from the Trauma Dance, and he said, well, James, you're right about the first one about sincerity, but there's also humanity to it. that's what he said, the word humanity, and I say perhaps sincerity and humanity to it, you know, and sincerity, humanity to it, and I think that you know, some good casting, and that also in terms of film structure. You know, I know there's director out here. You go to the best school, whatever, you know, and I never went to film school. I was a self-taught guy. But that Hitchcockian romantic thriller structure is still survived, despite all the imperfection from the first one. You know, and that romantic thriller structure, it survived. It combined the Hitchcockian romantic thriller structure and the sincerity and the humanity of it, and good casting, and perhaps if, you know, one big gigantic happy action in the movie, people like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I just say, that was I don't know who asked. I know who did, yeah. That was the first question I asked James. Why do people love your movie? I wasn't going to. And he basically said the humanity, and I think I've interpreted now, because it's been a couple of years, or a year and a half at least, that there's a charm to it. Despite the lack of production values, there's a charm to it. And basically, if there was any other answer, this wouldn't have happened. So, I think he's right. I think there's something we connect to.
Yeah, somebody else got one? Yeah.
You guys mentioned budget a lot. Would you consider possibly funding the third one using crowdfunding resources like Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
I'm going through my sofa right now.
Well, I can say this, you know, you saw that we're on the Hollywood Paramount lot. I mean, the Universal Studio back lot, you know, so look, my thing is that my strategy in terms of funding, in unless you're already back, you have a deal with a studio, a three-picture deal, or whatever deals, with a production company where there's millions, it's already set, you don't have to worry about funding. If you don't have that, then you have to start raising money. My first advice is, look, start with the Hollywood, you know, try to raise the regular way with the investor, the producer, a final guy like Mr. Jeff Ross, or a guy like Mr. Jeff Ross, Hollywood, do the Hollywood way. Okay.
Well, have you guys thought about doing it through Kickstarter? I think it's
well, that's the first front. Okay, do the Hollywood way. Spend some time. I don't know. Everyone has their own timing. Do it the Hollywood way. Try to find a producer the Hollywood way. And if you fail after time, then you know, then perhaps you know, the crowdfunding. Yes, you know, Kickstarter, whatever.
But have you thought about that for Birdemic 3?
Well, I think that Birdemic has gone beyond that. You know, that there is...
Veronica Mars just raised like $5.6 million.
Sure. You know, and that's great, you know. And we you know, I think Kickstarter is a great thing. Or you got a great idea, movies, or even a product or servicing. But to me, I have my great respect for the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding. I would try myself, even when I fail, but I respect it. It was just a test, you know, for me personally. What I'm saying is that do that if you just, this is my own subjective opinion, personal opinion. As a director, if as an artist, you know, do that only if you fail the regular tradition Hollywood way. You know, look, if you seriously want to raise the movie for the, you know, money, 200, 300,000, or even 100, or even millions of dollars, spend 2 to 3 years in Hollywood, or even in Austin here. This is an artsy town. It's like San Francisco, okay? Do the regular way, you know, nobody knows. Find a producer like Mr. Gross, you know, do that way. But if you fail, you try everything, you know, even your friends and family, you fail to raise the money for your project, then perhaps resort to crowdfunding. So that's my advice.
As the guy writing the checks, Jeff, would you ever use crowdsourcing?
I'm working with James, you know, on paper, of course, and creatively it's all him. So Sea Eagle was him, and you know, it wasn't my idea to shoot in Austin, but I'm excited that we will be. To tell you the truth, I wanted to see. I mean, this was for me, and I can't speak for the crowd. I haven't been inside, but for me, creatively, this was a success. You know, and financially, we'll see. But creatively, it was a success. So I can rest easy knowing that James' vision, that Birdemic 2, The Resurrection, happened, and it was what James wanted. So in terms of crowdfunding, I'm sorry, I'm just going blind. Someone.
Would
You
have
know,
been fun if you were drinking.
in terms of
when you said that.
crowdfunding, I think I'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and I'll present it to some other people because James' ideas tend to get bigger as we go along. So I don't know the crowdfunding, or we'll just change the name to Veronica Mars 3. See you.
You guys should just remake Bad Boys 2.
Just to answer your question again, okay, in Birdemic 1, okay, I tried to raise money back 2006 for Birdemic 1, and 2 years unsuccessful. I did everything. And so there was no crowdfunding from 2006 to 2000. That didn't exist at that moment yet. So if it did, maybe I would have tried a Kickstarter or even Indigo, but it didn't exist. So I funded myself with my paycheck. Okay. So just to answer your question, yes, I mean you have to start with traditional, and try to do the best you can. And if you fail, then today's time, in modern time, 2013, this second minute, crowdfunding and so on.
All right. The answer was no.
No, I'll take yes.
I want to do one last question because we got to get out of here. I feel like you look the most patient, so I'm going to reward you with a finger point.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patient face, you.
Hi. I'd like to know if any of the bird scenes are based on true events.
All right. We're asking who has a good last question. That's not
Well, yes, there is, everything that you saw, the first act, the foreshadowing, like, TV anchor, when she's mentioning about bird falling out of the sky, Arkansas, that's a true event. Just type Google right now. After this movie, and you go home, do a Google, even you have a smartphone, do a Google, type bird falling out of the sky, Arkansas, boom, it pops up right there. There's a long list video, you can watch it right now, right on your smartphone, iPhone, you have it already, sure, okay, so that's based on real, okay, so that's real, and giant jumblefish fish, that is a real thing, you type giant jumblefish fish right now, type Spain or Japan, they're attacking people on the beach in Japan and Spain right now, so there are abnormality in where we live right now, and I try to put that in an entertaining way in the movies. So what you saw there was not fictional; it was real life. But I just kind of put it in the movie, and it's caused by in my personal, it's caused by global warming, and you had even recently Sandy, the storm, and so the things are happening, and what I'm saying is that hopefully, where there's, civilization, the whole human race will improve in the way we reduce our emission of CO2, whatever ways we can, from all means, so that we can slow down the whole global warming crisis.
All right. Well, thank you so much, James.
Greg, you've been great. We'll be out in the lobby. I assume we won't get kicked out.
You guys were a treasure. We'll see you
We got
for birthday.
merchandise posted out there. Thanks for coming. Austin, happy Birdemic.